to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. I'm just calling this piece Pipeline Protest in Alberta. So I just wanted to do this piece on this because folk outside of Socialist Canada don't get to hear what's really going on here. Well, to put it simply, and I know I'm going to get shouted at for this, but there is a continuing protest going on in Canada over the Obama tactics, which all Liberals used to slow down the use of oil. Now, people might not know this. Canada is actually self-sufficient in oil, thanks to Alberta. However, there are limited ways to get products to market. The NDP, who are in charge in Alberta, who are nothing more than Liberal communists on steroids, have put so many restrictions on the production of oil that a large number of companies have already pulled out of Alberta. The pipeline to the US is still being delayed, and new pipeline running east to west across basically the whole of Canada is being blocked by either environmentalists, aka communists, or the federal government, or whoever. So that's where the latest protests come in. It was a line of truckers about 15 miles long, stretching from the city of Edmonton, which is up north of Calgary. They are basically protesting because they're fed up with the response from the politicians dragging their feet over this latest pipeline. If it's not Trudeau, it's the NDP, then the courts, etc., as I said before. All the time, these folk are going broke, and their families are basically starving. But putting it in political terms, i.e. votes, i.e. seats that control Canada, quite honestly, Alberta matters not in that equation. So neither do they. So delay, because the environmentalists in Toronto and Quebec want nothing to do with oil. Thought you had it bad? Well, listen to them. And they're not happy. They're not happy at all. Alberta is at the breaking point, and politicians can't see it, but they will. And finally, I want to say this. Trudeau blocks oil, but allows imports from that very democratic country, Saudi Arabia, which costs us more. Why can't we use our own product? If it was in Quebec, they'd be using it, wouldn't they? That's a little inside humour there. Anyway, this clip is from CTV News. The links are on my site. Take a listen.
Much like the rally outside Calgary City Hall on Tuesday, a convoy outside Edmonton today garnered a much bigger crowd than expected, where hundreds had promised to protest in support of our suffering oil and gas industry. Thousands showed up instead. A massive convoy clogging the QE2 with a message for the Prime Minister. Chris Epp reports.
Ryan says he has a very good reason to be here.
Show the rest of the province and the country and the rest of the world there that we're just sticking up for our industry and our livelihoods and our children's well-being in the future.
Thousands of Albertans got behind the wheel near Edmonton Wednesday, driving home a message. They say the province and the country need pipelines.
We obviously need pipelines. We need our product to go to the coast.
Show support for the energy. We need it. We need the pipelines really bad. And sooner the better.
The massive convoy through the community of Nisku coincided with a visit from Andrew Scheer, leader of the official opposition. He says $1.6 billion in federal aid will barely make a dent in the economic problems the oil and gas sector is facing, and that expanding pipelines should be the government's priority.
We're showing the hypocrisy of a Liberal government that is doing everything it can to phase out Canada's energy sector, but seems to have no problem importing foreign oil from other countries.
Most of the truckers who showed up say their livelihoods depend on a healthy oil and gas industry, and that as pipeline progress has slowed, so have their paychecks.
We want to get back to work, and we want to get back to work now.
We need the pipeline. You know, our industry is hurting, and we need the support, and it's just it's amazing to be able to come out and support this.
And Chris is here with us now. Chris, there have been several protests across the province the last few weeks, and there are more to come.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while, not slowing down at all. The next one that we know of so far is going to be in Brooks. That's this weekend. Again, it's going to be a convoy. So the truckers are going to gather on Saturday on Main Street. That's at 9:30. Then they're all going to drive to Veterans Park together for a rally, similar to what we saw today.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, and email. You can now find us on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a Twist, and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio, and please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.